Welcome to Season Chasers. I'm Rob Freeman. Those that love nature and outdoor sports spend a lot of quality time looking for adventure throughout the year. The more you study, the more you learn about the peak seasons in nature. It's fun to know when it's best to go fishing or hunting, when it's time to pick blueberries, wild mushrooms, or native pecans. Sometimes the peak season is close to home, right in your own backyard, or it could be miles away near the mountains and the sea. Either way, this program will chase the seasons where the action is hot.
Lee, what are we doing this time?
Yeah, round two.
Let's walk on out here and tell her what the plan is on this mission to Nondalton.
Well, another trip for the Lake Clark Monster. Did more research. Found some new spots. We're gonna go try it again. What's the definition of insane? Is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results?
Well, we've made some adjustments.
You just don't know. I mean, we're not going to catch it here. You know? So, we're going to go have fun. We're going there for about 8 days, 10 days. Do some fishing, hiking. See what happens. Same as last time. We learned a lot last time.
So we're targeting a funnel or a neck in this chain of lakes.
Choke point. And try to catch them as they go between the two lakes. It's just an educated guess.
So our mode of transportation again today is on Lake Clark Air, taking the Navajo. And if we put in any more gear, they're going to have to strap on a trailer.
I'm telling you, man. I think guys go on safari to Africa with less gear. But there's nothing in there we're not going to eat, drink, or use.
So we're going to go brave the elements. This is a total camp out. And we're bringing all the gear necessary to watch this net to...
Anyway, look at it. We're going to have a lot of fun. If we catch it, we catch it. If not, then well, we got something to look forward to next year. Just like the Cubs. Wait till next year. But we'll give it one last shot and see what happens.
All right, well,
you never know.
Trip number 2, 2013 begins now.
You never know.
Here we go on Season Chasers.
Season Chasers is brought to you by Crawcan Communications, telephone, internet, digital TV, and security.
Kansas Land Tire, your Goodyear dealer at 9th and Broadway in Pittsburgh. O'Malley Implement, home of the John Deere Gator, South 69 in Pittsburgh. And by Blue Ribbon Farm and Home.
And this is the Goofy Goat, right here.
Everybody waits patiently as the pilot warms up the plane and goes through the pre-flight checklist. Glad this aircraft is equipped with the latest avionics, because we'll need it for the flight to Nondalton, Alaska. Most people just don't realize what effort it takes to fly just over 200 miles out of Anchorage. It's not like the Midwest flyover territory. We're skimming above the rugged mountain peaks through Merrill Pass. There's really no suitable place for any kind of emergency landing. When there are no roads to go where you're going, it's really hard to haul down a boat or other big stuff. Regular gear costs a lot to bring along here on the plane. The food, camping gear, and fishing equipment costs an extra 90 cents a pound in addition to our round-trip airfare from Anchorage to Nondalton, Alaska. As we get closer to Lake Clark, there are active glaciers to see on both sides of the plain. These rivers of ice have some mountain greenery on either side of them here in the summertime. Sometimes the clouds are low, and we're now headed for the daylight that's under the clouds in this mountain valley. It's worth it, because we make it safely to our private lakeside campsite, and it's time
to let the games begin.
The season is summertime. It's trip number 2 this year to Lake Clark, Alaska, and we're hunting for the Lake Clark monster. And we've got 2 nets set here off this island. This is right where the Igiagig River goes from Lake Clark into 6 Mile Lake. And while we're here, we got the nets all set. We're watching them real closely, and we've been doing a little fishing while we're here. And we've been casting some pixies and some vibrax spinners. And just a minute ago, I was casting a number 6 and came up with one of these lake trout. And caught a smaller one earlier. But Russell's really been hot today on the grayling, and he's been using a small pixie. And we were casting over in some of the current over just across from this island. And he tied into some really, really nice grayling. The best one here so far is looking like it's right about 18 inches long. When it comes to fishing for lake trout, I caught this one on a number 6 vibrax spinner. And that's something I usually go ahead and use for king salmon. But this is one of the lake trout that'll get us started on the first day. We're going to get it on the grill tonight and see what it does for us. But there's bigger ones in here. Johnny caught a lot bigger one last time, and we're going to see if we can get one that big or bigger. That's all. The whole point of fishing is getting out and get as big a fish as you can find. And we think there's something up here maybe big as a ton. And we've got a net or 2 right here that we think is going to handle them. So Lee's got it all set for us. We've got all kinds of help here. We've got our camp established, and we're going to have some fun and share it with you today on Season Chasers, where we study, learn, and share the great outdoors. Thanks for coming along today from Lake Clark, Alaska. All right, I've been casting this beach for a while, and I moved down to a number 4 vibrax spinner, and here's a lake trout. And we're going to let this guy go. Well, maybe not. Adam just went by. I bet he'd like to have this. We'll get one for him. It's not super big, but it's good enough for a meal. And this lake trout hit the number 4 vibrax spinner. And they're a pretty good predator. I've been throwing a number 6. I've been throwing a big old pixie. I went on down to a number 4 just to see what happened. And here it is. Lake trout from Lake Clark. Now, as lake trout go up in this area, this is a fairly small one, but compared to rainbow standards back home, this is one to get you on the front page of the paper. But lake trout are a lot of fun to catch. They got these big rows of teeth. They even have teeth clear down where a lot of fish have a tongue. But big predators, got great big eyes to roam around and attack things. And this one attacked my number 4 vibrax spinner. And we'll see if we can get a few more of these and keep you posted of the action going on up here in Alaska on Season Chasers. Thanks for coming along.
When you don't have roads, here's how Alaskans move around heavy equipment. A sturdy barge with this extension gets it done. The nets are set in the lake current, and our August results are much different than the time in June. Here in late August, the lake is alive with red salmon, or sockeyes, that weren't present in June. It's part of a huge spawning run from Bristol Bay. That saltwater is over 50 miles away. The reds come up here to spawn, and then they die. And that creates a huge food source for the giant sturgeon. We're using this net with 18-inch holes in the mesh, and we're really surprised to get the toothy sockeye tangled up in our nets. The boys had to pull in the nets each day, release the sockeye, and set the nets again. In a big mesh net with current, a salmon will spin, and that creates a huge knot mess.
Right where the Lake Clark attaches with 6 Mile Lake. And on the first cast with a pretty large lure, here comes a grayling on a number 6 vibrax spinner. Now these are beautiful fish. This is the grayling. Coming out of Lake Clark, going into 6 Mile Lake. We'll let this one go. Beautiful fish. An Arctic grayling. Make sure it's all right, and I think it's just fine. And we'll see how many more of those are in here, but that's a pretty good average, I'd say. A little better than average. And we'll see if we can catch some of those giant lake trout that make him look like bait. That's how we do it on Season Chasers. Thanks for coming along.
Here's where we get our gasoline down here, from a tanker plane. It's Chick Days at Blue Ribbon Farm and Home in Pittsburgh. All the chicken supplies you need to get started. Blue Ribbon Farm and Home has what you need to feed the wild birds. Blue Ribbon Farm and Home has what you need to plant a beautiful garden. Seeds, plants, fertilizer, and weed control for your lawn.
Don't forget Blue Ribbon Farm and Home has a huge selection of food for dogs.
Whether you have a lap dog, a sport dog, chickens, or a goofy goat, Blue Ribbon Farm and Home has all the feeds you'll ever need.
You talking about a goofy goat, and this is the goofy goat right here.
Don't wait until it's too late. You can protect the ones you love with a new security system from Crawcan. Crawcan offers custom-designed security systems for your home or business to fit nearly any budget. Safety and security is just a phone call away. Call Crawcan today at 620-724-8235 or 1-800-362-0316 to schedule a free security assessment. Crawcan, more than just your local telephone company.
And if you're wanting to go hunting, there's no shortage of upland game birds out here at Pawnee Wildlife Preserve. We're open with the extended season through March, so give us a call at the number on your screen if you'd like to bring out your own dogs or fully guided hunts available. Pawnee Wildlife Preserve, Fort Scott, Kansas.
Other than an occasional barge or low-flying plane, our campsite is really quiet. We're guests on private native-owned land. We have a perfect view of the net buoys, and with this set, we can easily see if something big hits the net. By something big, we mean sturgeon that range from 16 to 25 feet long. These scavengers have no predators. We've got an unlimited food supply up here, and 50-mile-long lakes that are up to 1,000 feet deep. Now, our nets are just over 150 feet long. They hang down 20 feet deep, and there's an 18-inch mesh. Now, we think this is the best way to capture one of the giants. We heard stories from local residents about how there was a hook and line attached to a 55-gallon steel drum. It was found sometime later, crushed like a soda can, and that's from being pulled really deep. Now, it takes something really, really big to pull something like that underwater, and it's got to be really a monster fish.
All right, we're doing some drifting here on this river, and I've had a kind of a wiggle wart out here, drifting with the current, and there's a lot of sockeye salmon that are migrating up here on the end of their life cycle. Oh, here, he decided to fight. It's a female, I think. But sockeyes hit this lure, and we're gonna let her go because it's really, really past prime eating territory here, and you can see it's completely red. The head is all green on it. They're still aggressive, hitting this wiggle wart. And I'm going to do my best to let it go in the water and let her go on about her spawning mission. We're trying to catch some lake trout here today, so we'll let this one go. And there she goes. All right, that was a sockeye salmon, and we'll let that one go and try to get another lake trout here from Lake Clark, Alaska on Season Chasers. Thanks for coming along. Now today we've got a visit from some friend of ours and some Alaska dogs. Who we got here?
That's Equok there.
Equok?
Equok.
What do you say, Daddy? And this other one?
And this
It's
is
Bentley.
Bentley.
Hey, Bentley, what do you say, buddy? Oh, yeah.
Hardly.
How about that? You've hiked clear over here from Nondalton?
Yeah, they walked through the. It's good going that inside trail until you get over here, and then you got by Old Village. Then you come up to about 3 bays worth of beach.
Oh, Bentley. You're happy wherever you go, aren't you?
He is, as long as he's with somebody, and I'm trying not to let him get attached to me because he ain't even my dog, but he has kind of, but he's the kind of guy that he'll attach himself because you're loving him, you know. Oh yeah, you're good going, you know. That's how he thinks. He's going by himself. He don't like riding up in front of the boat. Like I tried tying him up by the bow one time. He hated that, man. He barked and barked and barked till I finally, I got off step and ran up there, untied him. Get back here by me. As soon as he sat down beside me, he just, oh, thank you for untying me. I don't want to be in the bow of the boat.
Meanwhile, camp life goes on. There's wood to be cut and fish to be caught. This time it's Lee's turn.
What's all right? Back up.
No, I think it's lake trout. Johnny's line's all up in here because he hasn't reeled it in yet.
It's working.
Hey! Hold on one second. We're wrapping around Johnny's line here.
There's one, huh?
Hey!
How do I do that?
Fucked over here. Here, Dad.
Hold on. Let's get him off here.
Yeah, he's way stuck in there. He's got it swallowed for one.
Don't move there.
That's a nice one. There you go, hold, man.
Here you go. Here's dinner. Oh, 6-mile lake trout.
Hey.
What do we got here, Dad?
What's that, man? Lake trout.
Got it, man. Got it, man.
What, 10 minutes? 15 minutes? Ago? Cut.
Some game flew by.
Rice, carrots, and fresh deep fried shrimp. And onions. And a bone. Outstanding. I don't know where to start. This lake trout still thinks he's swimming. Waka waka. Ha ha. You couldn't get this in town. You just couldn't. This is gonna hurt. You more than me. Ho, ho, ho. Outstanding. Good job, Jimmy.
You like that?
Fresh wood on the fire. Now it's time to kick back and discuss our strategy. There's really no guidebook for monster hunting like this in Alaska. This adventure stuff can be hard work. We do our best to talk about what to do when we catch a giant sturgeon. By the way, what would you do?
Is your computer not able to keep up with you? Does it take forever to load web pages? Your computer could be compromised with a virus, spyware, or some other malicious software. Crawcan's knowledgeable staff of repair technicians can diagnose your problem and quickly have you back up and running at top speed. Bring your computer in today for a free diagnosis. Go to ckt.net for more information or call 1-800-362-0316. Crawcan, your community technology partner.
Extreme environments can cause a spontaneous change in DNA, resulting in unexpected power and agility. Introducing the all-new, all-powerful Gator RSX 850i. 62 horsepower, a fully independent multi-link suspension, and a top speed of 53 miles per hour. It's a whole new species of Gator.
I'm Travis from Kansas Land Tire in Pittsburgh. We offer name brand tires like Goodyear, Dunlop, Kelly Springfield, Mastercraft, and virtually any tire for the job. We also staff ASE certified technicians to provide oil service, transmission and brake work, engine diagnostics, battery service, alignments, and more. We also now have a nationwide warranty and ask us about payment options like Goodyear Credit. Kansas Land Tire, 9th and Broadway in Pittsburgh, an authorized Goodyear dealer. See our ad and names and
It's late August, and we've been out here almost a week now in some pretty rough conditions. Here right where the Igyagic River flows into 6 Mile Lake out of Lake Clark. And we picked a spot right here to set our nets for the Lake Clark Monster. And it's going to take some more effort, it looks like, Lee. And what do you want to do next year?
Well, I tell you, I love our sets this time. I mean, we did a lot of homework from our last trip, and I just love these sets, but it's a lot of water. I mean, it's just a lot of water, and I'm kind of open here. I mean, this will be our last trip for the year, most likely, and then we're just going to have to really look over all the film, talk about what we did, and then just kind of like start over again, you know.
Well, we need some help on this, and that's what we're coming to you about. Is we're going to do probably one of the very first serious scientific expeditions, prolonged. Now, we've been out here, we did a 9-day trip in June and now an 8 or 9 day trip in August, and we've been out here searching for this Lake Clark Monster just about as long as anyone has been able to so far. But if we got 30 or 60 or 45 days of prime time to work with next year, that really improves our odds of tying into this monster.
Well, I call it TOW, T-O-W, time on the water. The more tow you can put in, the better your chances of getting them.
And in this Lake Clark area, we know there's a wide gamut of weather conditions. We had almost perfect summertime conditions in June, and then here in the last week, this is one of the first days that we haven't recorded some kind of rainfall. And when you're tent camping, it makes it a little bit difficult. So we're going to try to get our living conditions to where we can spend as much time on the water next year. We'd really, really like for you to be a part of it. And there's a number of ways that you can get involved in this. So look at the some of the contact information on the screen here, and there's a number of different levels that you can participate, from individuals, clear up to corporations that might like to even have a representative present as we set out on the search again next season. And these dying sockeye salmon that come in from the Bristol Bay Run, we're going to provide a tremendous food source over the winter as they die and fall to the bottom of this lake. The sturgeon are scavengers and have this tremendous food supply to sustain them, and the more they got food, the bigger they get. So this is really, really Alaska's largest wildlife mystery, and we're going to keep hunting on this, and like to have as many people contribute to this as possible and help us bring back proof of the Lake Clark Monster.
I think Milton said this year, he thought he heard that there was 2 million reds that came through here on their way up to Lake Clark. That's a lot of food. I mean, can you imagine what's going on under the water? The war between the trout and the whitefish and the rainbows and the sturgeon and the pike.
And keep in mind, this area is landlocked by ice a good 6 or 7 months of the year.
At least.
So it really narrows the time that we can really hunt for these without having all this ice in the way. But at that time, in mid-May, we think they're going to be coming up into the shallows and trying to warm up some and make the transition to summer. And we're going to do our best to get in their way.
Well, 3 years ago, Lake Clark never unfroze. It stayed frozen all summer. It never unfroze all year. It was really unusual, but it happens.
Well, it makes it pretty hard for you to find them, but we're going to do the best we can. And I'd like for you to join us in the hunt.
But
And a number of different ways you could participate. And I mean, even up to coming and joining us and helping with the effort. But this is a beautiful area and good variety of weather conditions, and we're going to do what we can to get out here and get in their way.
well, especially any kids that are watching this, never quit. If you believe in something, no matter what anybody tells you, if you believe in it, like we do, never quit. Just try harder. And if you don't succeed, well, you try harder the next time. And that's what we're going to do here. We're going to keep adapting. We're going to learn. We're trying harder. And eventually, we will succeed. So, say for any kids that are watching this, if something you believe in, something you want, don't let anybody talk you out of it. Just keep going on, and you will succeed. We believe we'll succeed. It may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, but eventually we are going to tie into it. Or I wouldn't be here.
I want to go get a couple of these salmon that have been getting in our way and kind of tangling up the net in ways we didn't really expect. But let me show you what these sockeye look like in the latter stages of their life cycle. These guys are about as red as a stop sign. Their heads are green and on their way to their spawning mission, and we're going to give you an up-close look right now. Now here's what's been coming through and getting in our nets. These sockeyes, this male has a lot of teeth showing here, and he's just about way past prime, and we're going to let him go here, but I just wanted you to see what they go through.
Now, summer isn't that far away. If you're our friend on Facebook, you'll get all the updates about our Kickstarter campaign to fund this summer's extended hunt. Season Chasers, on the hunt for the Lake Clark monster.
I don't think he likes that sonar. I think he can hear it, or it's doing something to his, so maybe it's doing something to his own personal sonar.
Setting some kind of signal, maybe? Some kind of something. Waka waka.
Tune in each week for some of the stuff you just won't see on other shows. Outdoors, wildlife, and a life of adventure. Being on the lookout for natural foods and making the most of what the wildlife provides. Study, learn, and share the great outdoors with someone who's important to you.